Good afternoon. This is Jennifer Purcell, your host for Living with Invisible Learning Challenges. I did not post an episode for a while because I was experiencing some pretty bad migraines. Still am, but I'm gonna do my best to record one today because I know it's been a while. Um, I hope the new year has been good to you so far and that you're able to work on your intentions for the new year if that's what you like to do for yourself. And if you're able to set some goals, that's great, and able to work on those as well, I hope. So, I still have my Etsy shop open if anybody wants to look at the knitted items I make. On there, I have some round scarves that you wear around your neck, and I have headbands and I have bracelets, and I'm also working on making beanies and some other things available. And if you think of anything that you might want me to make that's custom, you can always email me uh, at livingwithnld@gmail.com and I can try to do it. Even if I haven't made it before, I will do my best to try to knit it for you. It might not be perfect, but I don't think anything in this world is perfect. So it will be unique and it will be woven differently. That's the name of the Etsy shop. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, thank you very much. Patreon is a platform that I use for sharing transcripts of these episodes and also sharing audio that doesn't have ads to it, or fewer ads, I should say. So please check that out if you would like to support the podcast. That's great. I believe the levels of support are $1, $5, and then $10. $1 is just for general membership, $5 is for just access to the audio, and then $10 is access to the audio and transcripts that I post. So, today I want to talk about a phrase you've probably heard: two steps forward and one step back. What does it mean when you're neurodivergent or living with an invisible learning challenge, or maybe you have more than one, and how can we make sense of that pattern in our lives? When I first heard the phrase two steps forward, one step back, um, when I first heard the phrase two steps forward, one step back, I thought that's just life. But when you're neurodivergent, whether that means NVLD, dyslexia, ADHD, or another invisible learning difference, the pattern can feel both normal and extra challenging. On some days, you'll make major progress, you'll understand a concept you've been wrestling with, or you'll have a breakthrough in self-advocacy. Then the next day, you might feel stuck or regress or get knocked off course by sensory overwhelm, fatigue, emotional dysregulation, or simply by the fact that your brain processes differently. And when the one step back part kicks in, it can feel demoralizing. Why did I undo something I thought I had? Why can't I keep this momentum going? So today we're going to explore: what does this two steps forward, one step back pattern look like for neurodivergence? Why it happens, both internal brain and learning mechanism reasons and external environmental expectation reasons. How to shift our perspectives on the step back so that it becomes less of a failure and more of a meaningful part of growth, and practical ideas to work with this pattern rather than struggle against it. We will also reference a few articles to ground this in lived experience and research. And I want to note that even if you're not neurodivergent, if you're neurotypical, maybe some of these things will apply to you as well. So let's start by unpacking the phrase. In traditional personal growth contexts, there's a helpful article in Psychology Today that describes two steps forward and one step back as a sign that yes, progress is happening, it's just not smooth. That article points out the change is often slow and incremental. We feel like we've been climbing the hill and then look over the other side only to see another hill. But for neurodivergent folks, the pattern often has additional dimensions. For example, a day of doing really well, you're on top of a task, you have clarity, you've managed your accommodations, you feel competent. Then the next day, you might hit a sensory overload. Your executive function might falter, emotional exhaustion might set in, and the result is you lose ground in some way, not because you're incompetent, but because your neurological wiring interacts with the world differently. The step back might take different forms. You might lose focus. You might crash into overwhelm. You might revert to masking heavily and then pay the price afterwards. In one article from The Other Side of Autism, the author describes this explicitly: progression and regression, then more progression and more regression. The little things are truly the biggest and most important things. That framing resonates. The step back isn't a sign you're failing, it's part of the cycle for many of us. So, why does this happen? I'll share three key reasons. One, brain and learning mechanism variability. When you're neurodivergent, your cognitive profile often has unevenness, strengths in some areas, challenges in other areas, processing differences. Energy thresholds, fatigue from masking or compensating. Because of that, even when you make progress, the cost of maintaining that pace may lead to retreat or slower days. Two, environmental and expectation mismatches. Often the external world, school, work, relationships expect a smooth forward trajectory. Learn this, apply that, progress next, etc. But if your environment doesn't adjust to your way of learning or you're lacking proper accommodations, then what looks like step back may really be world adapt or support systems weren't sufficient. Number three, emotional, sensory, and executive function failure fatigue. When you're pushing hard, you may expend more than you realize, masking self-monitoring, sensory regulation. The next day might bring a crash, a lag, or simply a need to rest. That looks like regression. In the article about personal growth mentioned earlier, the step back is reframed as a pause or a chance to reflect rather than failure. When I think of my own journey with invisible learning challenges, I notice this. I feel like I'm really moving ahead. Maybe I finally make sense of a concept or I advocate successfully, and then the next day something minor will unsettle me, and I find myself backtracking. Another article from The Other Side of Autism describe it describes it this way. Sometimes it's even one step forward, three steps back. And that's important to name because the ratio isn't always strictly two forward, one back. Sometimes the back is bigger, and that can feel absolutely discouraging. Um, Since the step back often feels like a failure or a sign that you're not getting it right, I want to shift how we look at it. Here are some reframing ideas. View the step back as a data point, not a disaster. It's a signal. Maybe the support system needs tweaking. Maybe the environment changed. Maybe your energy tank dipped. Maybe you need to rest. Expect variation and build that into your planning. If you assume you'll have ups and downs, then a down day doesn't surprise you or derail you. Celebrate the forward steps and acknowledge the back steps' purpose. As a, as a Psychology Today article says, 2 steps forward and 1 step back will eventually win the race. We just have to accept it's going to take a bit longer than we thought. Shift your internal dialogue. Instead of saying, I messed up, say, okay, shifted. What's different? What do I need now? Take the step back as a moment of self compassion and recalibration. In the article, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, Our Heart of Courage, the author reminds us that movement in life can help us build inner strength. The key to our growth as human beings is the ability to welcome backwards movements and learn from them. When I speak to neurodivergent people or people with invisible learning challenges, many feel like they should be linear in progression, but their brains don't work that way. And we stop expecting linear and start expecting spiral, step back, rest, growth, then we're aligned with reality. And I want to also say that for me, I've not only experienced 1 step forward and 2 steps back with being neurodivergent, but I've also experienced that with chronic migraines. That's why some of this recording is a little challenging for me right now. I have a bad migraine, but I'm doing my best. And I think for me, what I'm trying to have as an attitude for this year is knowing that everything will be all right somehow, even if I don't feel that way in the moment. And trying to be brave with trying new things and trying to have less internal resistance. What I mean by that last one is that sometimes you want to try something new, but maybe you're scared that it's not going to turn out the way you want it to, or you don't know how it's going to turn out. For me, I want to try new things, whether it will help me with the migraines or help me with being neurodivergent or in other parts of my life. I want to try to not be afraid of not knowing what the outcome is, basically. So if you don't try, you're never going to know if it's going to work or if it's not going to work, or if you have to tweak something so it does work for you. And I think it's better to try it just to simply see what the outcome is and if it's going to work. Like, here's a good example. I've been trying something recently with the migraines that's new for me. I am having an attitude of everything going to be okay. And I'm trying some new natural remedies. They are kind of working, but not exactly to the degree I thought they might. But at least it's helping in some way, better than nothing. And I'm also being more open to what my friends might suggest that I do, because some of them do have migraines or did have migraines and have some people that have helped them. So I'm going to try to see if those people can help me too. So that's an example of one area in my life I'm trying new things. Excuse me. Let's talk about what to do with this pattern. Here's our actionable strategies for living 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Tip 1, build your rhythm and rest back up plan. Recognize when you've had a big forward push, great. Then plan for the possibility of a slower day, no big demands, adjust your schedule, build in buffering time. Keep a slow day routine ready, maybe lower expectations, sensory break, minimal transitions, self-care priorities. Track your trajectory. Use a simple log, forward progress, challenges, what caused the dip. Over time, you'll see patterns. Maybe after certain triggers, you backstep. That awareness helps anticipate and preempt. Use journaling or quick check ins. What felt strong today? What felt labored? Am I due for a reset or a rest? Adjust external demands and advocate. Because the environment often expects linear forward movement, communication that your progress may look different. Sorry, that was meant to be communicate that your progress may look different. Ask for flexible deadlines, sensory friendly spaces, accommodations, and breaks. Educate colleagues, friends, and family that your step back isn't a regression of value, it's part of how you function. Tip 4, celebrate each forward step, no matter how small. A step forward might be you made it through a challenging meeting, you self advocated successfully, you read a page you've been avoiding. Acknowledge that. Build a progress bank where you store wins so on the step back days you can pull them out and remind yourself you're still moving. Reframe setbacks as learning and recalibration. When a step back, when a back step or step back happens, ask yourself what triggered it. What do I need now? Use it to adjust. Maybe the learning strategy needs tweaking. Maybe my energy needs longer than I anticipated. Maybe the task needs chunking or breaking down. Embrace the idea we're not failing, we're navigating a more complex path. Well, I like that. Embrace the idea we're not failing, we're navigating a more complex path. Applying this to invisible learning challenges and NLD or NVLD. Because my focus, and maybe yours, includes invisible learning challenges like nonverbal learning disorder, NVLD, and other neurodivergent profiles, some additional notes. For NVLD, the unevenness is often pronounced. You may have strong verbal language skills, but weak visual, spatial, or social perceptual skills, or other combinations. That means a step forward might be huge in one domain, and the step back might happen in another seemingly unrelated domain that can feel confusing and defeat like, but really it's a pattern. Because you may mask or compensate, your brain may fatigue faster than you recognize. So the back step might show up as exhaustion, irritability, slower processing, not necessarily a visible regression, but internal. Many times, progress in learning or self advocacy creates new challenges. You gain cognition, but the environment doesn't shift. So the back step may really be that your support network didn't catch up. Example, you learn a new coping strategy for social anxiety. You use it, you feel empowered, forward step, but then the next week you meet a novel social context, your strategy fails, or you misapply it, and you feel like I'm back to square one. That's the back step. But actually, you're in the new terrain now. You have more knowledge, even though the performance dipped. If I could give you one sentence to hold on to, your progress isn't linear, it's valid, it's real, and the one step back doesn't erase the two steps forward. I'm going to say that again. If I could give you one sentence to hold on to, your progress isn't linear, it's valid, it's real, and the one step back doesn't erase the two steps forward. As we wrap up, if you're navigating invisible learning challenges or neurodivergence or chronic pain, remember, recognize your pattern of forward slash back, not as a failure, but as growth in motion. When you take a step back, see it, name it, and ask, what do I need now? Keep the forward steps visible, document them, celebrate them, anchor them. Advocate for your environment to respect your rhythm, not just expect linear progress. I'd like to invite you in the week ahead to watch your two steps forward, write them down, then notice the next time you hit a step back. What preceded it? How did you respond? What might you do differently? And most importantly, how can you treat that back step with gentleness, curiosity, and compassion? Thank you for joining me on Living with Invisible Learning Challenge or Learning Challenges. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you're comfortable doing so, consider posting one forward step you've taken in our podcast community or on social media with the hashtag Invisible Learning Progress. Let's build together. I'm Jennifer. Until next time, go gently, go proudly, and know your progress matters. Two steps forward and one step back. Forward it still is.